Hey guys, it's Jess from Alden Dancing. So today I got a request for a video about dating as an amputee and kind of, I don't know, things I've thought about or whatever, just how I've dated as an amputee. And I was like, that's a really great idea. I know I've posted blogs about it, but I haven't actually filmed a video. This lip stuff is so shiny. Anyway, this is not what I'm here to talk about. Um, so yeah, I guess I'll just get into it. So dating is awkward in general. I know I would be bad at it no matter what. Um, and I don't even know why. I'm just a very uncomfortable, awkward person when thrown into weird situations. And the only dating I've ever really done was meeting people from the internet and not just after a second of talking to them. I don't know how people do that, but or expect that of women. But so I've used various sites. None have really worked for me. And maybe it's because, when I initially started to date, I was only 24. And I make that sound like only. I know people get married at 24 and have children at 24. But for my personal experience, I was only 24. I hadn't fully accepted myself. I didn't know what to talk about on a date, and how to present myself in a positive light without being a Debbie Downer. So I made a list here, so I'm going to try to stick to that. Otherwise, this will be 3 hours long, and no one's going to want to watch that. And I understand. I wouldn't want to watch that. So yeah. So first of all, I guess, once I decide that I'm going to meet somebody that I've been talking to, I normally do a couple of weeks of talking online and chatting and maybe talking on the phone, which I don't like talking on the phone. I've always had jobs where I've had to talk on the phone all the time, so I feel like it's kind of silly to talk for long periods of time with somebody who lives in the same city as you. I guess I always like to pick the location or have an idea of where we are meeting up. I don't like people picking me up. I find that to be really, I don't know, not necessarily dangerous, though it isn't really that safe. If you've never met somebody, you probably shouldn't get in their car. So yeah. Yeah, I always like to know the location just so I know what to expect as far as stairs, parking, general accommodations for me. Not that I need accommodations, but it is easier for me to get into buildings when there aren't stairs. And even in Madison, Wisconsin, the city is pretty well equipped and follows ADA standards for almost all of their buildings. There are still the occasional times that I am forced to have to walk up or down stairs for certain locations, and I would just rather avoid that. And since I have picked the locations, I kind of become the dominant figure in the duo, and I don't know, that kind of already makes for a weird dynamic. So I don't know about that. I wouldn't suggest that. And when I was 24, I haven't gone on many dates lately. I've just been super busy with grad school, and dating isn't something I'm taking super seriously right now, so I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say because there's so many ideas flooding into my brain. Seriously, every time. Okay, yeah. I'm gonna have to, okay, can you just lay down? All right, great. Okay, so, I guess, I didn't put these in any sort of order on my list, so I'm not really sure where to start and where to, whatever. So this is not a play-by-play of what I do every time I'm deciding that I'm gonna meet somebody, but, so I'll just kind of go through them as I come up to the question or the statement. So I already covered that dating's awkward and I'm always worried about the location. And then many times, even though a location is ADA accessible, there will be an upstairs, kind of loungy bar area. And many times people want to go up there and I'm always like, why? We can just talk down here. Also, I'm not a big, social drinker. I have a really low tolerance, and I think that's just because I don't have the body mass to kind of make up for it, and I just don't like drinking. I feel like it's a waste of money and my time, so whatever. So I guess I could have started with this statement first. When do I tell them that I'm an amputee? Initially when I started online dating, I didn't have it listed anywhere on my profile. I didn't really ever discuss it. And so I went on a lot of first dates, like a lot, like probably 50 to 100 first dates. And I never saw those people again. Just because I am so socially awkward, I guess. Like meeting people and talking to them. I don't know. There was never like something that made me say like, yes, I should tell this person my whole life story and they'll want to date me. And that's never really something that happened during that time of my life. I know I took a long time off from that after I had my last surgery, which was like in 2011, I think. I decided I wasn't going to do any dating whatsoever for like a year, and that was fine. So this is, again, it's starting to become a play-by-play, and that's not what I wanted this to be. So when do I tell them I'm an amputee? Now, any dating I've done in the last like couple of years since having this blog and the vlog here on YouTube, I have just put it right either like on my OkCupid profile or my Tinder app thing. I just put it right there, or just a link to my blog, and people can go look at it. And I mean, that's worked out pretty well so far. But there's not been any sort of chemistry with any of the people I have met, and I don't think I'm in the right mindset to kind of find like the one at this point in time. So I don't know. I just kind of put that on the back burner. But I will say that if you are an amputee, or just anybody with some sort of like disability or really anything that you don't want to bring up, you don't have to tell anybody your story. That story is yours. And if you choose not to tell somebody about it and you just have an awkward date for an hour or two, probably not going to kill either of you to just go your separate ways. I feel like if I'm not feeling it, I'm not going to go further into my story and tell them, any more details about me. Like, you can talk about bland, boring stuff and make it through the date. But yeah, it's your story to tell it or not to tell it. And it really, you'll know when you should tell it. You probably shouldn't wait too long, because then it might never come up. And then you'll probably just put yourself in the friend zone, which I have done probably those 50 to 100 first dates that I went on. I put myself in the friend zone every single time. Just making yourself not seem like an eligible bachelorette. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but just making myself seem like, I'm very self-sufficient. I'm very independent. I live on my own. I pay all my own bills. I'm not dependent upon anybody. And so when you kind of put those vibes out there, people don't necessarily think you are relationship material. And that's whatever. It's what it is. So I think I've always put out there that I'm just a strong, independent woman, snap my fingers, that sort of thing. And so I don't know. Maybe I'm just putting the wrong vibes out there. Also, I know as an amputee, like, I don't really have control or a general, like, I know where my feet are and I know where my legs are, and I try to keep those within my own personal space bubble. But there are times when people are playing footsie with me, and it will take me like 30 seconds to realize what is happening. And then I will have said a joke and smiled at them, and so that person will continue playing footsie. And this is really before, like, I told anybody that I was an amputee. Like, I was just going on all these dates because it's what you're supposed to do in your 20s. And I was just doing it to do it. And it caused a great deal of anxiety. And so just ignoring someone playing footsie with you is kind of weird. And just avoiding touching in general. Like, many times on dates, people, will touch your arm, touch your leg, whatever, your lower back. And that would just cause me to completely shut down and freeze up and become more awkward than just me being on a first date trying to explain who I am. So it really helps if you are an amputee or somebody who is in a similar situation of any kind, really know who you are and just own it. I could have saved myself like 5 years of really bad dates. Not that I went on a date every single day in those 5 years, but I went on a lot of bad dates, and not even that they were bad. Like, these were all really great people. They had great things to offer, but I was not in a position, if I can speak English here, to, share my life with them or have them share their life with me, and me portraying myself as this strong, independent person, kind of put me up in a different level. Not that I'm saying I'm better than anybody else. That's not what I'm saying. But so the people that were in the mode for dating, obviously were looking to go on dates with other people. And I was one of those people going on dates with them, but I wasn't necessarily in the right mindset. So now, after fully accepting, like, I'm never going to grow my legs back. That's not something that will ever happen. I'm never not going to have prosthesis. I mean, someday I could use more medical assistive devices, and that is just my life. I'm getting emotional, so I'm sorry. Okay. So accepting that was like the best thing ever. And I don't know why I'm so emotional, but it's just very rewarding to know who you are and what you have to offer, and that you shouldn't have to settle for anything that you didn't want to settle for. So this is becoming one of those like draw my life videos here on YouTube. But anyway, whoo, get the vapors. Anyway, so know who you are before you go on a date. If you don't feel chemistry with somebody, don't tell them anything about yourself that you don't want to. Like, if you don't see yourself wanting to go on a second date within the first whatever initial meeting of this person you've never met before, don't. You don't have to. You don't need to tell them your story. It's yours to share. It's your life. And if you're not feeling it, leave the date. You don't have to stick around for 3 hours watching them drink Bud Light. Like, that's not something you have to do. You don't have to be the one to pick the date. You can tell them, hey, that's an awesome idea for this location, but do you know if there's like an entrance without stairs, etc. Like, you know your limits, you know your abilities. I mean, I can walk upstairs, I can walk down a hill. I just need to be prepared for that sort of like energy exertion. So yeah, I guess I don't even know what I'm trying to say anymore, but yeah, dating needs to be on your own terms. You need to be ready for it. You shouldn't just throw yourself into a relationship because other people around you are doing it. And you shouldn't just be wanting to date just because you think that's what you're supposed to be doing at a certain time in your life. We all have our own timelines. We all have our own abilities. We all have our own things to offer to this world. And you shouldn't be uncomfortable dating. You shouldn't, from my own experience, you shouldn't force yourself to go on dates that you're not really feeling. Just don't do it. Just know who you are. And I know that's like a big statement, like saying know who you are, but get to know yourself. Get to know like what you want in a relationship. Get to know what you are looking for in life. Like, if you don't want to have children, or you can't have children, or you don't want to get married, or you don't want to ever buy a house, know those things about yourself before you start going on dates. It will really cut down, not that you're dating a bunch of losers, but just people that aren't meant for you. Know your interests. Find somebody with general interests with yourself and not someone who is just interested in you because of your disability. I haven't ever really run into that. I know people have sent messages and stuff on YouTube, and they aren't ever intrusive. But I know I would never date anybody with, I guess, a devotee kind of attitude towards amputees. That's just not something I would want a relationship to be focused on, or whatever. Not that I don't want to offend anybody who is interested in that. You can't help it. That's what you're interested in. That's what you like. Okay, Kat. But yeah, I know the ins and outs of like, if I want a family, if I want to buy a house, if I want to get married, if I want to do whatever. And right now, my life is focused on graduate school and focusing on finding who I am and kind of helping people through my blog and also doing hand signals. I don't know what I'm doing. So yeah, I guess if anything, the only takeaway message, I guess, is that it is your story to tell, and if you feel like dating and telling every single person you've ever met that you went through whatever you went through, do it. And if you don't want to, don't do it. I know this is kind of a repetitive video with me kind of lollygagging about, but yeah, dating is awkward enough already for you to have to explain yourself even further on like a first or second date. Don't stress yourself out. It's not really worth it. The people that are meant to be in your life will be in your life. And that's not like in a Prince Charming Disney kind of way, or whoever is a princess. I don't even know. Whoever you want in your life, they're not just going to show up. You will obviously have to go out and meet people, but you also don't have to settle for anybody, and you don't have to feel bad about yourself, and you don't have to feel like a burden. Like, just know that if you're an amputee, it is not a burden that you don't have legs. That's not a burden on you or anybody else. Yes, it is more work being an amputee in your life in general. There are other things you have to be conscious of. You will always have medical appointments and medical bills that you're going to be concerned about getting covered and whatnot. But don't let any of that stop you from dating. Like, you should want to go out and meet people. And even if you just made friends at this point in time, and then maybe someday you decide, hey, let's try actually dating or something, just do it, you know? And I don't know what that was about, but like, yeah, if you want to date as an amputee, I say you need to do it. And it doesn't even have to be about an amputee. It's just you dating. That's it. Just, if you want to date, you should date. And if you don't do it. And yeah, I think we made it to over 300. And I always say we, but it is just me and my ever increasingly empty apartment because I am moving in May. So I'm trying to get things off the walls so they can start showing this place and whatever. But yeah, I don't know where that came from. It's just me. Okay. Yes. So thank you for all of the subscribers. This is an extra long video, but it's definitely something I had a lot of time to think about. So just reading the topic today really just sparked my imagination. Like, I've written about this before, but not actually spoken. So if there are other topics that you want me to speak about, these kind of videos are easier for me to film. I did film another video that I'm still editing and trying to put back together. Hopefully I'll have that up very soon. I don't know when. It was supposed to go up on Saturday, but I am still working on that. But yeah, please let me know either here on YouTube or through my Tumblr inbox is where I got this request for. Also my Facebook page, I believe you can contact me through that via like the messaging, sort of like an inbox like Tumblr has. So hopefully this was helpful. If it wasn't, maybe put some questions down below more specific about dating and not necessarily just my draw my life type. Here's how dating has gone for me so far. But yeah, this was interesting. I know I got emotional, but this is just real life. So we need to embrace our emotions, and that's something I have been working on through this blog. So thank you again for watching, and I will be posting more videos in the future, kind of like this maybe, and more like hands-on showing you how I put bandages on. That's the one I filmed, and I am trying to put it back together. So thank you again for watching, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye!